My name is Sherman Haywood Cox II of SoulPreaching.com. On that website, we seek to celebrate the principles and teach the principles of the African American preaching tradition. In this video post, we want to discuss addressing the real needs of the people in the sermon. Addressing the real needs of the people in the sermon. This thought came to me as I was reading the very helpful book by Paul Scott Wilson called The Practice of Preaching. Paul Scott Wilson's Practice of Preaching, a very good book that new preachers can actually come and read. There are many assignments in the book, small assignments. The task is broken down into very small pieces so that preachers can read and work through the actual putting together of a sermon. In that book, he talks about addressing the real needs of the people. When we talk about addressing needs of the people, there are at least three different types of needs or categories of needs of the people. The first of these categories is the experiential needs of the people. These are the needs that the people believe that they have, the needs that the people want. This is when you put out a survey and ask people what kinds of sermons they would like to hear. These are the sermons, these are the ideas that would come to you because these are the experienced needs. What people believe that they should hear, what people believe that they need. One of the challenges with dealing with experiential needs is that the gospel often lets us know that our experienced needs aren't our true needs. It's just like your little child who comes to you. I have a little son and I ask him what does he want to eat, and he always says cookies and crackers. However, that's his experience need. That's what he thinks he needs. That's what he wants. However, asking people what they want is not the same thing as asking people what they really need. And that's the second category, which is the true need of the people. Now, how do you get to the true needs of the people? Well, you might ask them what their experience needs, what do they think they need. However, you want to look at those needs in light of the gospel and in light of what's going on in your particular church at this particular time. What does the Bible say? Go to the Bible. Go to what God's desire for us is today. Go and see what the principles of God and how God would have us live today, how that affects what is actually needed. You know, there are some of us who when you talk about experience needs, some of us think that we need to hear about grace when it's really the law that we need to hear. And vice versa. There's some individuals who all they want to hear is law, but somebody needs to hear about grace sometimes. And so it is the gospel, the full counsel of God, which allows us to have a balance that comes from God and not from the people who are just going to be asking for one or the other. So that's the true need that comes from the pastor's reflection and prayer and study and understanding of what's going on in the congregation, enlightened by the gospel. Finally, and this is an important one, is the needs of the preacher. We've all heard preachers who, because of their own need, they only preach one type of sermon that's not necessarily needed by the people, but it's needed by the preacher. And if you preach only what the preacher needs, then the people will not necessarily get what they need. Once again, we need to go back to the Bible. We need to go back to the Spirit. We need to go back to prayer to find out what is actually needed by the people, including ourselves, who are not to be separated from the people, but we are a part of the people. But we should not magnify our own pains, neither place our own pains and needs and wants on the people as if the people have the exact same needs and wants. So, to summarize, there are 3 types of needs. We can't just go to the people and ask them what they want as preachers. We must go to the Spirit, go to the Bible, go to God in prayer and find out what is needed for these people at this time. And we should not allow our own needs to cloud that particular endeavor. Once again, this is Sherman Haywood Cox II of SoulPreaching.com. If you like this video, I encourage you to come to SoulPreaching.com, download the free book, You Can Preach 7 Steps to an Effective Sermon. In that book, we will take you from idea all the way to sermon. And you can get there at www.soulpreaching.com/free book. And you will download the book, 7 Steps to an You Can Preach 7 Steps to an Effective Sermon. Until next time, this is Sherman Haywood Cox II. God bless you and keep on preaching.